What's up, world? Let me tell you about this beard growth oil I got from 12 tribes on Earth. 8 ounces of oily goodness with a nozzle that prevents sprays and spills, and soft ingredients that make it perfect addition to anyone's morning routine. From coconut to castor, all these oils are hand chosen. After using this herbal blend, the biggest thing I noticed is how soft, how strong my hair was, and how good I feel. Pick up your bottle today and make your beard the star of the show.
Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. I don't know why they messed up my time. I put in 9:45, and then when I came back, it said 6:45. I didn't schedule this for no 6:45. Boy, I'm getting tired of these people. I'm sick of these damn people. So anyway, we're going to talk about a lot of people are coming online and they're saying this is the end for Donald Trump. And a lot of folks are believing he will not finish his term, y'all. He won't finish. And perhaps maybe it's true and maybe it's not. I'm not sure. But nevertheless, I think he's so vain, he would probably try to finish. But at the end of the day, this is the people that voted him in. They're the ones at fault. Congress and the Senate for failing, literally being derelict in their duty. They're not doing their jobs at all. And, it just seems like we're all paying the price for what these folks are doing or what they're failing to do. Donald Trump is now making threats to restart the war if Iran don't honor the agreement. And I'm like, wait a minute. It's you and Netanyahu that's not honoring the agreement. So that's what he's saying. The war can be back on. And then Pete Hegseth, with his old drunk ass, he said all of the people that have been deployed over there will not be leaving. They will be staying. So that's what he said. They will be staying. So I know 50,000 of them were sent there to build it, up around the Straits of Hormuz, which has been closed again after Israel bombed Lebanon. It was immediately closed. I heard only 2 ships got through. That was it before they closed it down after hearing about Israel bombing Lebanon. So now Donald Trump is trying to throw it back on them, saying they're violating the agreement. Actually, they're not. Y'all are. You and Netanyahu, you're violating the agreement. But, it's so typical. People like Donald Trump, that's what they do. They'll flip what they did on to others. We know that historically they got a history of doing that. So nobody should be shocked that he's taken that position, but everything could be starting up again real soon. So, well, Netanyahu wants to continue to bomb Lebanon and anybody he wants for that matter. And they're trying to say the agreement did not include that. Iran is saying, yes, it did. It included that. What they said was to stop bombing them, stop bombing Gaza and Lebanon. And, and Netanyahu, and not only did he bomb them, I don't know if any of you saw some of the footage. I did yesterday. I mean, they tore them up. there was so much rubble and debris and everything. You can tell they shot in the city because it was a lot of buildings that went down. Yeah, so nothing has changed. So look like the war is going to be back on again. That's what it looks like right now. So I know they're going through the 2-week ceasefire. Iran is also saying there have been several violations of the agreement that have happened, and they are keeping the Strait of Hormuz closed. All right. Let me go ahead and let me share my screen. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. Yeah, Zelensky, this video of Zelensky in the Oval Office is coming up again because of something he said. And I know many of you are going to remember this once I play it. Thank you for the 1s, everybody.
During the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what I'm not dictating.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very
You
strong.
will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now.
A few moments later.
This hour. Tonight, the war with Iran is on the verge of escalation, with President Donald Trump threatening to target Iran's power grid and Tehran vowing even more forceful strikes on Israel and U.S. Gulf allies if there is no ceasefire by tomorrow night.
How do we 25th Amendment his ass?
The problem is to get the 25th Amendment is harder than impeachment. You have to get 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate.
So what do we do?
Tackle Trump and pretend, let him pretend he's president and publicly report that he's going through a health issue and Vance take over. It literally needs to be something like that. It's that bad.
Friend, I know I ain't the smartest person in the world. President Trump is going to be our last president. Just think about it. Let it sink in. His last name is Trump. Dun, dun, dun.
Donald Trump has surrendered, not the Iranians. And what he has been doing over the last several days is an impeachable offense. He has threatened a genocide against a nation. He has threatened to end a civilization. He has threatened to use nuclear weapons against a country that does not have nuclear weapons. All of these are impeachable offenses, and he must be brought to justice. The House and Senate should be brought back into session. There should be articles of impeachment brought against him by the Democrats in the House of Representatives. We need to make Donald Trump accountable for what he has just done in the name of the American people. And I think this is going to be a defining moment for the Congress, for the American people. We cannot allow Donald Trump, in control of nuclear weapons, to be invoking this madman theory of the destruction of a civilization in the name of the American people without him being brought to accountability. The impeachment process must begin.
I'm going to make a prophecy as I'm coming to you from inside Trump Tower in New York City. There's the famous escalators, the golden escalator, where he made his announcement. And this is the Trump Bar Steakhouse, Trump Tower, Fifth Avenue in New York City. And I am going to prophesy, and I'm going to make a prophecy in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Thus saith the Lord. Did you hear me? Thus saith the Lord.
Do y'all see what he just did? He went inside of Trump Tower and he literally cursed it. He cursed Trump Tower. He went inside of Trump Tower and he literally cursed Trump Tower. You know? And y'all, I want you to notice one thing. It's his own people speaking curses on to Donald Trump. You don't see a lot of our people doing that, but you see his own people doing it. His own people. You know, I came into the truth when Obama was still the sitting president, when I came in the truth. And I remember back then I was listening to a lot of the camps and everything. And they were saying Obama would be the last president. You know, that's something I never said. You know why I never said that? I never said it because I didn't feel that was correct. I didn't speak out against it, but I never felt like Obama would be the last president. I always felt somebody else was going to come after him. But a lot of them were on that back then. Oh, Obama's the last one. There's no more presidents after. I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know if any of you felt that way, but something in my spirit said that was not correct. I just was not feeling that was the end. And we were still in that presidency. Although I did not care for Obama, his presidency was nowhere near as bad as what Donald Trump brought to us first and second term. But now that Trump is in there the second term, I feel it this time around. I feel it now, but I did not feel it for Obama. You know? So let's go on.
Donald Trump, 45 and 47, will be the final president of the United States of America. Furthermore, there will be no election. There will not be an election in 2028. The Constitution will be suspended. Martial law will be declared. Now, folks, y'all need to forget about who the Democrats are going to run in 2028. We're talking about Gavin Newsom. We're talking about Vice President Harris. We're on down the line. Pete Buttigieg. It doesn't matter because it's not going to happen. On the other side, y'all need to stop debating between J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, because neither man, in the name of Jesus, will ever be president of the United States, says the Lord God. This is the end of the debate. Martial law will be declared, the Constitution suspended, the end. Let me repeat what I said at the beginning. Donald Trump will be the final, last president of the United States of America. May you let that sink in. From Trump Tower, this is Evangelist Mike Dial. Amen.
The Antichrist? I ask this question seriously. I'm not saying necessarily that he is or that I necessarily even believe in that sort of thing. But I do ask the question seriously because something doesn't seem right. And I'm asking this question in the context of some news that has just come out in the last 12 hours that I'm going to discuss. And I've talked about this issue before. I've actually done a video about this specific question in the past, but some things have happened since that video that only serve to make me question it even more, if really there's something to this. And here's what I mean. As I said, something doesn't seem right. Have you felt that over the last 10 years? There has been, I mean, with all the craziness that has happened, what a loser. Did you see Trump's speech last night? Jeez. What a freaking loser. That may have been it. That may have been it. That may have been the moment that Donald Trump officially ended his presidency. Well, maybe not officially ended it. I mean, it's going to continue to limp along to whatever conclusion it's limping toward. But that may have been the moment he functionally ended his presidency, because that may have been the last opportunity he had to save himself, to save this disastrous presidency. And he blew it. He utterly blew it. Because as I said yesterday, and I obviously got this right, that was a pure desperation move. He had absolutely nothing to say. This was just a hastily called primetime address to the nation because
Donald Trump's presidency is over. I'm looking at the details of this peace plan, and there is no recovery for Donald Trump. First, Iran will continue to be able to enrich uranium, and they will continue to be able to have their own nuclear program. They will commit to never having nuclear weapons, which is the same commitment they had before the war. Second, Iran has full control over the Strait of Hormuz and will be able to charge $2 million per ship. Third, Iran is going to get all of the money back that they've had sanctioned from the United States. Remember all that cash that was flown to Iran that Obama gave to Iran and Donald Trump attacked him relentlessly for? Guess what's about to happen again? Fourth, this will end all regional fighting in the area. Donald Trump is essentially agreeing to doing the same thing that we were at the Obama nuclear deal, the JCPOA. We are in the same position that we were at in 2015, and we have spent billions of dollars. This is absolutely a strategic defeat of the United States of America. Catch me on live here in a little bit at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with Hunter Howell, the Purple Revolution guy. We're going to be talking about the peace agreement, much more. So see you guys then. See you guys. Love you.
Never mind Vietnam. This could be Trump's Katrina, I think. This is the moment when his authority looks to be permanently destabilized. Why? Not just because he's shown that his judgment is so wrong. This is a guy who is constantly being shown to have backed himself into a corner. He doesn't know how to get out of it. His authority deeply damaged and enfeebled. Its Gulf allies have been alienated. They're likely to look elsewhere for their own security needs in the future. They can no longer rely on America. America has not proven able to guarantee their security. Israel has opened up a new war, as I said, in Lebanon. That is going to prove to more instability or lead to more instability in the Middle East. Thousands and thousands of people being displaced, their homes being destroyed. The European-US relationship has been fractured, possibly beyond repair for the rest of the Trump presidency. That leads to permanent questions now, structural questions about NATO. President Putin is stronger than he's ever been before, or at least he has been for the last couple of years, because he's got lots of new oil money flowing into the coffers. Donald Trump has shown himself in this. He is less an emperor of Rome, and he is more a wizard of Oz. A wizard who has been shown the world and shown himself the limits of American power.
During the war, you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now. So you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody No more elections. Oh, it's good.
Trump is going to continuously have war. He's going to be our last president. This is the end. They literally declared World War III. It's like people are like, people are in denial. People are in an illusion. We are in the midst of war. War it will never end. We will never have another president because this is a part of the new world order. There will be one president for the whole world. There will be one money system. There will be one school system. There will be one payment system. There will be one credit system. Everything will be one. So what we're here to do, right, as the true chosen ones, you have to pick a side. Do you choose the Matrix and their new one world order, or are you choosing our new world, right? Our new world looks like we're returning back to nature. We're going back to the spiritual laws, right? We're abiding by spiritual laws. We're cleansing the earth. We're cleansing the water. We're drinking flowing water, right? We're having plants. But understand, in order for us to enter this new world, the other new world has to start. Because then it is going to be a divide. And that's what the vaccine was about, right? It's about the great divide. Do you choose the Matrix, or do you choose self? Do you love yourself, or do you love the Matrix? What do you love more, yourself or the Matrix? So understand that everybody's like, okay, we're doing, when is it going to happen? It's coming soon. Once the war really gets declared and they hit the bombs in America, that's when we can start our new world. Everything up here has to go to shit. There has to be no jobs, no people are not going to just say, I'm going to quit feeding myself into the system. And Mother Nature, the universe knows that. She's just going to force everybody to stop. So all this shit going to get blown up. America going to get blown up. Everybody going to be fucked up, right? But the strong ones understand there's nothing that we can't overcome. There's nothing that we can't, because what? Diamonds built under pressure. So everybody in America, we go through all this shit, all these toxins, all these vaccines. They attack us in America more than anybody else, but yet we still have the highest levels of consciousness because we are the chosen one. There's nothing they can do to break us. So understand, once the nuclear bombs hitting America and all this shit collapses and comes to the end, most people are going to join the Matrix, but us as the chosen ones, we're going to go create our own utopia, our own perfect world. Remember, it's all based off frequency, right? While I'm in the 5D, these people who are choosing the Matrix are in the 3D. Your heart must be as light as a feather in order to evolve. So he knows as long as there's no more elections, there's no more voting, which means there won't be another president. So he's going to continuously start wars till this shit is blowing up. But this must happen. So we must enter our new world. Your old world has to collapse in order for our new world to rise. Ashe. So yeah, he knows that during the war, there can't be any elections. So there's going to continuously be war. And a lot of people are like, why are you wishing this? Why is this going to happen? This is a bad thing. No, y'all, this system has to be collapsed. All this shit has to be blown up. This shit was built off our ancestors' pain and agony. I can't wait for this system to collapse.
All right, sit down, get comfortable, because class is in session. We're going to break down this power move that Iran has implemented recently. The power play in question, Iran's decision to end a 52-year-long agreement that was literally the last standing pillar in upholding the financial empire to the United States. Yeah, they have now decided that any oil that is passing through the Strait of Hormuz will not be done with the transaction or with the use of the US dollar. It will now be done with the Chinese yuan. Iran basically said, you want oil, you're going to pay in yuan. No ifs, ands, or buts, no conversation. Now, this is the part where I educate United States citizens about a deal that actually went down in United States history that they don't teach us about. Much like most of the United States history, any power that the United States government has, it was not earned, okay? They didn't work for it, right? They either stole it from somebody else, lied where it came from, or they negotiated their way into having this power. This is kind of the case with this 52-year agreement that is now ended. The United States dollar power was never earned. Okay, the United States government never earned it. They never worked for it. They negotiated it. And this happened back in 1971. See, back in 1971, President Nixon printed more dollar bills than the United States Gold Reserve could actually back up. He did this to be able to fund the Vietnam War. Then he abolished the gold standard entirely. He just got rid of it entirely, forcing the United States to now rely solely on the US dollar.
Okay. So, I mean, let's be real, y'all. First of all, the US dollar is never going to be used again in the Straits of Hormuz. It doesn't matter what negotiating Donald Trump have. People all around the globe no longer wants to use the US dollar. And that's because they don't like Donald Trump. And that's one thing he's never going to be able to get again. And it couldn't happen at a worse time because America is insolvent. And a big bulk of that money came from the oil industry and making everybody use US currency to purchase oil no matter where they were in the world. Now that is not going to happen. China is going to be making all that hand over fist money right along with Iran. You know, they were talking about, I was listening and they were talking about the billions that Iran is going to make this year alone. And see, what you got to understand, they're charging 2 million for any ships to go in to the Strait of Hormuz, and they're charging 2 million for them to exit. So they're literally getting $4 million per oil tanker that goes in there. All right. So they're going to make all kinds of money. I think they had estimated by the end of this year, they'll have something like $65 billion. So there's no way they're going to let the US bring that currency of the US dollar back in there, you know? And I think they have already worked things out with China on top of that. They've already worked things out and they're not going to break that deal with China. So y'all, do I think Donald Trump is the last? Yes. Yes. This time around, I do feel it with Donald Trump, but we'll see how this all play out because it looks like this ceasefire is falling apart rapidly. And now there's finger pointing. And and I saw an article yesterday earlier, I think it might have been the Washington Post, where Trump was saying they're going to have shared power. White people kill me with that mess. When you are in power, you don't want to share power with anybody. But when somebody else got the power, you want shared power. No, you should never have that because you don't give that to nobody. So he's on there talking about the US and Iran are going to have shared power over the Strait of Hormuz. And you know what? Iran did not say anything like that in their agreement. And you can listen to the 10 points on line or read about those 10 points. There is nothing in there that says they're going to share power with the United States. And watch, y'all, they are on that big time. They don't want to share no power with anybody. But when somebody else got the power, they want you to split off some power. No. And listen, y'all, when everything flip and we're back on top, watch, they're going to come and try to pull that mess with us. Oh, we should share. But no, we ain't sharing nothing. Just like you didn't share nothing. Ain't gonna be no power sharing. But that's what Donald Trump is trying to do. He's trying to set it up where he'll have some say over the Strait of Hormuz. It's really not your place to say anything, Donald Trump, because you ain't in that region. Iran is literally there. If you look on a map, they are right there. Okay? So why would you, who are thousands and thousands of miles away from there, have all this say? Y'all are talk about power tripping. So anyway, we shall see what's going to happen. And we will see if this war starts back up. We will see. I mean, the ceasefire is only 2 weeks. And it's already getting messed up. So we will see what happens at the end of 2 weeks. But either way, y'all, the US is never going to be seen the same again worldwide. Nobody is going to ever look at the US and be afraid anymore. That's one thing Iran has done. And we know this is all through the Most High. He's letting the world know when it comes down to these two countries, Israel and the United States, there's nothing to fear because he let one country single-handedly kick their ass and everybody witnessed it. Donald Trump couldn't lie to save his mama's life. Every time he gets on TV talking about, oh, Pete Hegseth, yeah, he was on TV claiming victory. Why don't you just go back to being drunk, Pete Hegseth? You know, nobody is believing you or Donald Trump when it comes down to what happened. You know, we can see with our own two eyes what happened. We don't need no help from you and Donald Trump guiding us along the way on your lies about who won the war. But that's what they're trying to do. Charge A at 3318. Thank you for the super chat. It's been a train wreck waiting to happen since he got into office. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, he came into office attacking everybody. Number one, he attacked us with that DEI, and then he attacked the entire planet with those tariffs. You know, he's back on them tariffs again. He is saying that anybody that that supplies Iran with weapons, he's going to slap a 50% tariff on them. First of all, not unless you're using your intelligence. I don't think anybody's going to tell you what Iran is getting. I'm just saying. But that's how they are. That's why I was laughing when I saw that. They're going to share power. I said, it's amazing. All these years they've been in power. You never seen them once share anything. But as soon as Iran gets the upper hand and they control the Straits of Hormuz, now all of a sudden you trying to get in there to share power. No, I would advise no one to share power with these people because ultimately what they're going to do is try to take the whole thing over. That's what their plan will be. Oh, we'll just share power. Then next thing you know, they'll be taking and dominating the whole thing because they can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. So it's best to keep them out altogether. I'm sure if our ancestors were here, that's exactly what they would say to everybody. Trust me, if they want to share power with you, there's an ulterior motive there. And you can best believe somewhere along the line, they're going to try to overtake you and take the whole thing and push you out altogether. But I think a lot of people are hip to them because Iran don't seem to be barely interested in talking to Donald Trump. If you notice that, they're not interested in really doing a lot of talking and dealing with Donald Trump. And I think it's going to always remain that way. Even if the ceasefire is extended, they're really not interested in Donald Trump like that. At least that's my observation. Zakaria, thank you so much for the 10 gifted memberships. I deeply appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support for my channel. Well, 2 weeks is not a long time, y'all. So, you know, you're talking by the end of the month. We'll see. We'll see. But I got a big chuckle out of that when I read that yesterday. No, nobody will ever look at this country the same. Wania, no, they're not going to get that anymore. Nobody is even going to look at the US as a superpower. And you know what I keep hearing? Oh, China's going to take over the world. No, they're not. That's not prophesized. It's not prophesized that China is going to rule the world and then we'll all be stuck under China. And let's say they do get some dominance because the yuan is being used. They might get a brief little moment, there, but we ain't gonna be ruled by no Chinese people. That ain't gonna happen. You know, I even heard over the years, because there were so many Latinos coming into the country, oh, they're gonna be over you. Isn't that what Joe Biden said? No, it's not prophesized for no Latinos to be over us. That's never gonna happen. That's never gonna happen. And if anything, they got curses on them. Look at how they're being ran out of this country. They're being ran out of this country nationwide, y'all. So if they really had that kind of prominence, they wouldn't be getting ran out of here, for one. And they are. And I was reading, most of the ones in these detention centers are them. They're the biggest ones up in these ICE detention centers. So that's a curse. That's a curse. So no, a cursed people is not going to be put over us. It's not going to happen. But I did hear that. And Joe Biden seemed to have believed that crap too. No, he's not. They're cursed. All you got to do is look at what's happening to them. They are cursed. Look, a week ago, it was some white woman that hired all these illegals to put a new roof on her house. As soon as it came time to pay, she called ICE so she wouldn't have to pay them. And I'm sure many of you probably heard that story. It came out about a week ago. And this woman called ICE so she did not have to pay them. And I think the whole job cost $10,000, and she called ICE, right? So come on, that's a curse. That's a curse. And that happens to them a lot, especially in construction. A lot of these white construction owners do that to them. They'll give them a project to do, and when the building or homes and stuff are built, they'll call ICE so they don't have to give them their final paycheck. And that happens a lot in construction. So no, that's a curse. These people are cursed. They are cursed. Well, they never embraced them, Chris G. If you notice over the years, even as they start growing in size in the country, they said they're down. Their numbers are declining fast, because of the ICE raids. And not only the ICE raids, but many of them are leaving on their own now, because like a lot of people, they're having a hard time getting hired. And many of them are just tired of looking over their shoulder, leaving their house and wondering if they're going to make it back home. So it's been a lot of them self-deporting out of here, plus the ones that ICE is gathering up. So their numbers are declining rapidly in this country. They don't have the numbers they used to have even 3 years ago. So it's not the same. Like I said, I know a curse when I see one. They are cursed. They are cursed. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I got my next live at 11:45. I'm going to make sure I look at the time, because I know I selected 9:45. And then when I come back in, it says 6:45. I didn't choose that. That really pissed me off. But they're always playing games with us. So, I mean, what's new? So y'all, I will see you then. We're going to talk about Donald Trump's administration, Selective Service, have made changes. So starting in December of 2026, if you're between the ages of 18 to 25, you will go through what's called an auto draft. An auto draft. So it's no more signing up for Selective Service. It's now going to be automatic. So if war breaks out, they can just come and drag you and put you on the front lines. So it's called auto registering for the draft automatically. So y'all, I will see you then, and we'll get in more details about it at 11:45. Shalom, family.